Jasmine's Enchanted Tales, Journey of a Princess, was released in 2005. This is directed by LaDuca, Toby Shelton, and Alan Zaslove, written by Mirith Colao. And we have a voice cast including Linda Larkin as Princess Jasmine. We have Dan Castellaneta as the Genie. And I have to say, as much as Robin Williams always has my heart, his Genie is pretty fantastic. And I enjoyed this. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but as a Disney fan, I had to give it a go. I'm not that bothered about Aladdin or Jasmine as characters, but I actually thought the stories were good. However, I did learn before watching it that the three stories in this, and I'll talk about each of them in a moment, actually come from the Aladdin TV show. I had never seen it, so that's absolutely not an issue for me. But if you've seen the show, you've seen the episodes, but then you want to buy this one because you want some new stories, that's not going to be the case. So that's worth bearing in mind, that the three stories here do originate from the Aladdin TV series, which, based on this, seems like it would be pretty good quality. And I will talk very briefly about the three stories. There won't be any major spoilers. I will share some thoughts though. And the first one is Elemental, My Dear Jasmine, where she is stuck in this magical sea. And as a concept, I thought it worked quite well. We have some really interesting characters. It's a well enough written story. The music is lovely, the animation is really satisfying, and Dan Castellaneta as the Genie was an absolute joy. So it was a solid start. I thought things worked really well. The character writing in particular is pretty solid, and I was pleased to see the animation quality there is generally that of the films, which is not always the case when animations have spin-offs, TV shows, or even direct-to-video spin-off films. Sometimes the quality is not there, but that didn't appear to be a problem here at all. The second story is Do the Rat Thing, where Jasmine is turned into a street rat, and she obviously has to try and solve that problem. She looks pretty cute. The rat was absolutely adorable. We have some really lovely animation, some great music. It's a good story. Absolutely no complaints there either. I thought the tale worked really well. Each of these as well is about a standard 20-ish minutes, obviously because they're from the TV series. That makes perfect sense. And the third story is Garden of Evil, where we have Jasmine and the Sultan and some very thorny magic. We have some thorns and flowers. The animation is gorgeous. It is quite dark and scary. And I honestly think that as a child, I would have been quite scared of this particular story pretty much for the entire thing. It's very dark, and I love that. As an adult, I absolutely adore it. Yeah, no, as a child, I would have been quite scared, but I enjoyed it. I thought the story worked well. Jasmine and the Sultan together, I think, are great characters. The animation here is absolutely beautiful. So we have three solid stories. They're all very different stories as well. They're all different narratives, different settings as well, which makes it visually quite fun. So on the one hand, I'm going to say the selection is very good. But obviously I haven't seen the Aladdin TV series, so I don't know how many other Jasmine-centric stories they had to choose from. Maybe they could have packaged them together a little bit better, but based purely on these three alone, I think the three work well because they are very different locations, different characters, different problems they have to overcome, generally revolving around magic, but obviously given the enchanted tales of the title, we can expect that. So I think packaged together, the three clips or the three episodes, I think work very well. If I were to rank them, I'd have to say Garden of Evil, largely for the animation. It is stunning. And then Do the Rat Thing. I think the story there is the strongest. And then Elemental, My Dear Jasmine. I think the story for that third one, Elemental, My Dear Jasmine, might be the most straightforward. Maybe the easiest for younger viewers to follow. Maybe. Possibly. But I think Do the Rat Thing is more fascinating. And the animation for Garden of Evil is just absolutely breathtaking. So, despite the fact I don't really care about Princess Jasmine very much, I really thoroughly enjoyed this. And I'm not going to rush to watch the Aladdin TV series because I'm still not a huge fan of Aladdin as a film series. I do love the Genie though. I might check it out at some point. And if you're a fan of Jasmine, if you're a fan of Aladdin, if you're a fan of the Genie, then I'd say Jasmine's Enchanted Tales, Journey of a Princess, is definitely worth watching.